The next assignment, the story of place. This is the big project, 10 to 20 images. You want to tell a story of the place rather than just capturing a scene. It's a visual documentary of a place you are visiting. So, things that you might want to explore for this project are the journey to and from the place, the people found there, the atmosphere, and that could be the mood, the feeling, the weather, could be atmospheric. You want to look at details, possibly, big details to small details. And then what's the story you're telling? Is there already a story happening? Will you be defining that story through your images? So there's all sorts of places you can go. I give you a bunch of places if you want to do something like over a day or a weekend. But I decided to use my trip to New Orleans. And I think that's one of the reasons why many of you are taking this class is you want to be able to pull together something and in the end have something cohesive and significant that you can share with others. Some of you might want to use this as a jumping point to start a travel blog on Instagram. So you have lots of options that you can do with this. My goal is to take all of my images and put a book together. I like to make books from my journeys and then I can share them with people. And that's a great little remembrance. So you want to make genuine moments, look for action, color, gesture, anything that catches your eye, you can shoot for this project. You want your viewer to imagine themselves even being there, exploring the place with you. If you want to record some videos for this project, that's perfectly acceptable as well. You're going to caption this as we've been captioning stuff all semester. I like narrative captions. They tell a little story to go along with it, but include like where you were, the who, what, where, when, whys. Always important. So this took me a minute longer to get together than I thought it was because I was going through 2,000 some images. I put a little note up there for you guys saying what it was. And I really started by capturing where I was. Let me make these images a little bigger so you can see what we're doing. I'm in the bridge just to kind of run you through this with me and kind of see what we're doing. So right now we're just looking at them by a sort date. This is my rough edit. I haven't gone through and tweaked it yet. So you're going to see some inconsistencies in here. You're going to see a variety of processing styles. They may or may not be consistent for the book. It depends. So sometimes I pull different subjects out and treat them differently. So the general, core of the piece would have one processing, and then special little offsets would have different processing that would go along with it. I could also create an Adobe Spark page if I want to share this online with people. But I like to make the little books, and I use a Mag Cloud or Blurb most of the time to make my books. And many times I like to make one-off books. So anyways, you can see here I started at my journey to the airport. It was at 6:45 in the morning. There was no one really there. The characters that were waiting in line. A nice moody shot was created here. This is more what it looked like, so I have a little artistic license in here. The flight, I always liked shooting from the plane. After I landed, I think you guys remember, if you watched the videos in any kind of order, that I went and got lunch and I went to the company burger. And I walked past this cool building and the graffiti building and this right here. However, this one is out of sequence. This should be up in here. This was my Uber ride from the airport to the hotel. This was when we were coming in and landing in New Orleans. So, and these were the shots along the way. This was a shot I took in my camera bag to kind of give you an idea of what I carry with me. It's got 2 cameras in it, my sunglasses, my wallet, miscellaneous things, filters if I need them, extra memory cards, extra batteries, all that fun stuff. And this was my room key. I like that it said welcome. I like that we had the horse hitching post of yesteryear with the bicycle here, so that's what caught my eye. Now, right now, the food shot, these 2 food shots are here. They won't be part of the book. I generally keep the food stuff separate. But that's me. If you want to have your food as part of it, you certainly can. And as I was putting this group together, I decided I was going to eliminate the food because I just have too many other shots. But what I'm not going to eliminate are some of those rooftop scenic shots because that was a big part of what I was concentrating on while I was there. So this was kind of fun. Let me just make that larger. Parish Brewing Company. That was at the company store. I'll clean it up and process through it. I haven't done that yet, but I liked the narrative that it creates to help define where I'm at. The walk through a park, the government buildings that were surrounding it, heading down towards Bourbon Street, some of the antique shops along the way. I took some snaps there. Uh, the overall scenes from up high. No matter what, even if I'm not going for a cocktail up high, I try to find some up high vantage points at different times of day. It's always great to look down at the city. This was a mural, and this doesn't fit into any of the assignments we had. So the right half was a mural, and the left half was the building that the mural was put over. And I like that they both have this interesting texture. So the competing textures that are going on here, the old and the new. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But it didn't really have a place in our assignments. But it does have a place here in the story of place. I shot some of the trolley cars. I did a trolley car ride out to the museum, and I passed cars all the time while walking. So they could have been their own story unto themselves as part of this project. So you're going to see a number of those within the story of place, and this is one of those. So right now it's basically in a more or less chronological order of like where I started the day from day one to the end. And I'll probably keep it in that order, but I might, make some little artistic changes to add things that don't seem to have a place or they're just like a one off. I probably will keep the Café du Monde in the book just because it was an important part of the trip for me, but I might not. I don't know. I'm still indecisive. I love how these three look together, the building leading to the ferry, the water. And I do have a ferry shot that I'll probably put up there with it. So that's what I'm talking about. I'll add a image to help tie it all together. Here's another one of the trolley shots. Different trolley, different direction. Very cool, in my opinion. Classic tourist spot. Everyone's going to get their shots. I was standing up high, met a guy from Ohio. Went to the school that I went to. He's a student currently, so we had a nice little talk. So you never know who you're going to have the opportunity to chat with when you're out making images. So this will probably be the type of style that I'm going with, a little bit grittier style. And part of the reason for that is it is the same style that I did my images with in 2015 when I was in New Orleans. So that'll give me the opportunity to put all of the images together from both trips. And I may do that as a bigger story. You don't see these Aunt Jemima bottles anymore, but I had to get a shot through the dirty window. Kind of liking that one. Photo enforced. I have a photo enforced sign in my house, so that's why I shot that. I thought that was pretty fun. The little houses stuck in between bigger buildings that are still alive. I think that's exciting to look at, so I have some of those nice details. Like I said, I think I'm going to pull out some of this food stuff that's in here right now. I normally don't do just little details like this of murals because it's really someone else's art, but it really speaks of the location that I'm at. So in the context of the whole, I don't have a problem with that. Old signs, I'm always drawn to vintage things, so this one caught my eye. What I was liking here was that car was still turned on, the headlight was on, and it's all darkened. This is just working for me. Have some people down on Bourbon Street. Characters, we had the assignment where we went out to shoot the local, so those you saw there's going to be a few more later on as well. I shot these details. These were just spray painted at one of the places I was at, and I thought they were just kind of quirky and fun, so those will be nice placeholders in the book. Same with this bicycle behind a piece of glass. And you can see here, this actually belongs over here, but it's getting, and one of them will get edited out. They won't both be in there. But the reason that they were in separate places, date-wise, was because of editing. So I edited it, and one was being viewed as an edit time. So I did take a ferry ride. So this was inside the ferry, these life jackets, and then I like the close-up here, safeguard life preserver, and then the adult life jackets. So I thought that was pretty fun. My friend that told me to do that said that the boat had tons of spider webs, so I shot this thinking about her. And then here's a boat, one of the ferries that was, zipping across the water. Matter of fact, I'll probably combine that ferry shot with, where'd it go? It was back here a ways with this, because this mural here was an advertisement for that paddle boat. So I'll probably put those together. I went to the Jazz Museum, and these collages were there, so I snapped a bunch of those with my iPhone, and they're Louis Armstrong collages. So I'm going to put those like on a page just because I thought they were really interesting, visually, stimulating. So it gives me some ideas, and I just love what they are. They're not my art. I took a picture of whose art it was, which was Louis Armstrong, and I will put that all together so that that is marked as well. My love of bicycles. Here's a shot that falls into that. I've got a series of these black and white shots from up high, so those will probably stay their own because they're really different than anything else that I was doing. But I was loving looking down, and I'm going back and forth between these two shots. They're different, but they're too much the same to be together. So I got to pick one of those. So I haven't made that decision yet, but I'm pretty interested in them. More trolley stuff. The car shot in color again. I'm going to go with the black and white. I was playing with angles here. I like to do that. So one was with the iPhone, one was with a different camera. So I got to pick one of those. New Orleans had its 300-year anniversary, so I had to take a picture of that. That'll be in the book just as a remembrance. Trolley shot coming through an intersection. A little triptych kind of showing the movement of what's happening. I'm going to run that across 2 pages. That'll be a spread. The end of the line. Back to some black and white stuff. We'll go with those other pieces. This was a government building. This is so touristy to me. I just love it. They're reading the plaque, and I like the staggering of the two sculptures through the space. If you haven't had an opportunity, go look at Lee Friedlander's monument's work. Those are fantastic photographs. But I'm just loving the inclusion of the people here. Of course, I do have it without the people, but I chose the people. That was a decision I already made. Detail, I haven't done anything. I don't know if it'll be part of it. I need to pull out a few more of those. I got caught up in the glass block and how it was distorting things. So I was kind of liking this one. I haven't really edited it yet, but I think it'll make it in because it says art in it. And this was from the Ogden Museum. And then this were the stickers that you wore. So there was a pole outside of the museum where people just stuck those to. I always save those. I have a big, one of my notebooks has a bunch of them. And actually, whatever my current notebook is always filled with stickers along those lines. When I shot this image, I knew that this was one of my fantastic images of the week. I loved how the light was hitting it, and I couldn't wait to process it. So that was one of the early ones I did. But it didn't fit into the other assignments, but it does fit into the story of place because New Orleans is known for their gardens, even though it's not quite a garden. I love how it's trimmed. This was also out at the government building. I'm going to go back and grab the black and white of it. So I processed it. I'm thinking the black and white is going to be the stronger image. It can go with that other set. So that's where things are going to get shifted back in time. Lots of just random graffiti everywhere. So I'll probably do something, make a little section of graffiti stuff, or it might be pauses in the book. More graffiti popping through. And one of the things I hope that you're noticing when we're looking at this stuff is there's a lot of layering of space, a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. That is so important to telling stories. Lots of people. I don't know why I have 2 of him here, but I do. He was about to turn as he saw me taking his picture, but how great is that? He's standing out there with that broken down umbrella, shading himself, trying to get people into his restaurant. People are just walking right past him. I love this little guy. I knew that this was going to be a keeper the minute that I took it. And I'm really pleased with how that turned out. So that definitely fits in with this series of people. So all the people stuff are going to have this gritty look. So that I have determined already. This one, I'm thinking as I saw this picture that she's just gonna like be like, "What are you doing?" And then I shot like 8 photographs of her as I was walking by, and that just happened to be a moment she looked right at me. But I have 3 more pictures where she just kept going and she looked away, and on her way she went. So no confrontation at all. But for a moment there, I thought that was going to be an issue. But I love the shot. You gotta always have people looking at you. It wouldn't be New Orleans without trying to go to the Voodoo Museum or shop, but they don't let you photograph inside. But luckily, they had some windows outside, so I played a little bit with the reflection and the stuff that was in the windows just to kind of show that that was New Orleans. This was at Pat O'Brien's. I will probably include this, even though I'm not going to do a lot with drinks and stuff in this little book. But I like that those steins are hanging from the ceiling. So you can see I've covered everything that there was to cover here in New Orleans. Now I need to refine it a little bit more. I've got to edit it down. Needless to say, I have 134 items here. I told you guys to do 10 to 20. If you end up with more than 20, that's okay, but be critical on your edit. Don't have anything in there that doesn't support your story. And now I need to go back and be really critical and get rid of a bunch of stuff to make it the best it possibly can be. And I'm going to aim for 40 images for this, 40 to 50 for a book. Okay. And remember, I started with over 2,000 images. I'm down to 134. There's a few I may have missed. I'll probably go and grab, but my eye is going to be harsh. I got to get rid of stuff. And then I've got to go back and edit everything to be in groups that work together. So the whole thing can be a single edit, or you can't do, like if I was doing buildings, I can't do one in color, one in black and white, and one in the gritty. I need to pick something for the whole. So anyways, so I just wanted to like give you this first video to show you what this is, and then I'm going to add another video once I get it all done, and then I'll show you the PDF pages as well, hopefully. So hopefully I can get this all done. It's a big job. So this is part 1. So think about the big story, the story of place.